Hello and welcome to my monster mashup video. Because I've been a little bit behind in recording lately, I've decided I'm going to do a mashup video that's going to include kind of like a spooky fall reading list that I have planned that I want to get accomplished. And it's going to be my birthday haul, my October spooky fall reading list. So I guess let's get right into the video. So, before I get into the birthday haul, which is what I'm going to start with, I did, for my birthday, buy myself a new Kindle cover. Sorry about the sun glare. Decided I wanted one with a clear back so I can put my own stickers, make my own kind of decorations. And then I also, because I like having the hand strap, I did get myself a hand strap. Anyways, so let's get into my birthday haul. I had a friend, my sister, my mom, and my husband gift me books for my birthday, which was in September. And this is the haul that I got. So we'll start with my sister's. She got me Consumed by J.R. Ward. It is about a fireman, from my understanding. I really haven't read a whole lot on it, but it is from my sister. Let's see. It's about a bitter family legacy and a scorched career as a firefighter. And then there's a bad boy in the department. His name is Danny McGuire. She is a arsons investigator. So I guess we will see how that goes when I get to it. And then I have a friend of mine. Her name is Brandy. She sent me The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. It says, Jude was 7 when her parents were murdered, and she and her 2 sisters were stolen away to live in a treacherous high court of the fairy. That sounds pretty interesting. And then from my mom, she got me 2 books. She got me Her Soul to Take and Her Soul for Revenge by Harley LaRue. It sounds like it's kind of a cult-related series. I'm not entirely for sure. Thanks, Mom. And then the last little bit of my haul is from my husband, and he got me The Butterfly Garden by Dot Hutchinson. I'm kind of interested in this. It's been on my TBR for a little bit now. It says, near an isolated mansion lies a beautiful garden. In this garden grows luscious flowers, shady trees, and a collection of precious butterflies. Young women who have been kidnapped and erratically tattooed to resemble their namesake. That sounds really interesting. And then he got me a book which I've already read, but I want the book anyway because I really thoroughly enjoyed the whole series, so I'm trying to collect the whole series. So he bought me A Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I'm obsessed with this series. I highly recommend it if you have not read it. Very, very good. So that was my birthday TBR. And next we will be moving on to my September reads, which also is the start of my Spooky Fall Monster Mashup TBR. So stay tuned. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start with my Spooky Fall TBR. I went a little overboard, so I've kind of cut it down a little bit, just because I don't know if I'm going to get all the books that I decided I wanted to read for spooky season done. If you can hear my cat scratching at the door, he's very persistent that he wants it. So, my Spooky Fall list is Dracul by Darcy Stoker and J.D. Barker, and I will show a picture of everything that I don't have physical copies of over here. Halloween Murder House by Chris Colmenero. Don't know if I said that right. Mischief Night by Mark Townsend. Welcome to Nightmare Island by David Cabrera. Forgotten Bones by Vivian Bars. Woman in the Woods by Jonah Saul. And In Her Shadow by Mark Edwards. Now, that whole list that I just named off for you, I am in a group on Facebook, which is a psychological, I'll put it down here because I can't remember the whole name of the group, but they did a, like a spooky readathon type game, and they're doing it from September to the end of October. I have already finished that list. So every book that I have just read to you, I read in September. So that's my September TBR. We'll get to that in a little bit. So for the rest of my Spooky Fall TBR, please come in. I have The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, which I have also read. This is an October read. We'll get to that in a minute. And then I have The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which I will, like I said, will post pictures of the ones that I don't have. I'm still in the middle of that one, and I will give you my opinion on that when I'm finished. And then I read Jones, 1963 by Devin Cabrera. This book goes along with, but is not part of a series with, Welcome to Nightmare Island, which I will get to in a little bit. I also have some October hopefuls that I'm hoping to get to, which would be The Deadly Occupants, A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. I'm super excited about this. I think this is probably one of my next ones. A Ghost of a Chance, which sounds hilarious. If you have not heard of this book, you need to look it up. It contains a lot of adult humor. And then I have a copy of this one. Hold on. Here we are. My pile of books down below is massive. It was buried. So, as most of you know, I am a huge Edgar Allan Poe fan. I have so many copies, different copies of his books. I have new copies. I have old copies. He's my favorite poet. I fell in love with him, I think, my freshman year of school. And my favorite, just like most of everybody's, is The Raven. But I plan on reading The Fall of the House Usher. Now, I watched the Netflix series, and I really enjoyed it. So that is also on my Halloween TBR. I'm hoping to get to that here quite soon because it's a short read. Shouldn't take me but maybe an hour. And then I also have The X-Hex. I've had this on my TBR forever. I got it from Book of the Month. This is not a sponsored ad, but if you would like to sponsor me, please do. I've been a member for 3 years, I believe. But I have not read this one yet, so it is also on my Halloween TBR. It sounds like a fun little read. So let's get into September reads that I have already finished. All of those books I read on my Kindle because they were, well, except for one. I did get Dracul from my public library. As most of you know, I believe I was reading it in the last video I did. The rest of the books that I read for the month of September were on my Kindle because they were in that readathon that I did for my Facebook group. So the authors offered them up for free. So we were able to download these books for free. I believe that they are still options to download for free. So if you would like to look any of these up, they are in the Kindle app. You can read a Kindle book on a Kindle, on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, anywhere you want. You do not have to have a Kindle. Okay, so the first book I read, I started in August, right at the very end of August, August 29th. And that was Dracul by Darcy Stroker and J.D. Barker. I gave it 4 stars. Now, I have never read the book Dracula. This is the prequel to Dracula. I really enjoyed it. I did not think I was going to enjoy it at all. It is a very long book. It is 493 pages. I read it in about 2 weeks. I really enjoyed it. It's the prequel basically to Dracula. So it goes into talking about Bram as a child and goes into where his nanny, he finds out that his nanny is a vampire, and she's been taking care of him for the last like 3 to 5 years. I can't remember how long she was employed. He has a serious blood disease that is slowly killing him. She's been healing him so he does not die on the family. She eventually leaves, but she keeps coming back so she can continue to heal his blood disease so he does not die. As the book progresses, her master comes into the book and he's hunting her down because he's obsessed with her. She ran away from him. It's a really, really good book. I suggest that you guys go read it if you want to. Like I said, I've never read Dracula. It was on my Halloween TBR, but I don't know if I'm going to get to it. It's another one of my hopefuls. Moving on from there, I read Halloween Murder House, which is, it's by Chris Colmarino. I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. I'm reading this off of my Notion list, so it's easier for me. I do have notes, but I don't have all of my information on my notes. Let's see. I forgot to put my star rating on this one, so I will put it down below here because I don't know why I forgot to put it in there. I started this book on September 12th, and it's 235 pages. I think I gave it 3 stars. I'm not 100% for sure. It's just a silly little read. It's supposed to be like dark horror, and it's got a lot of paranormal in it, ghosts. It's about a haunted house, and the girl that is in this house has inherited this house. She's kind of an introvert, and a certain someone decides that she should throw the year's city Halloween party at her house because her house is so spooky and so haunted, and everybody wants to see the inside of this house. She reluctantly agrees, but she also has a little bit of a backstory that she has to try to hide from everyone while she's throwing this party. I'm not giving anything away. You're going to have to go look it up. But let's just say she doesn't take kindly to animal abuse. It's a good read. I put in my little thought bubble. I said, I don't know what my thoughts are on this book. It was good and had me hooked from the start. My main problem was that it was so fast. I feel like I got sucked into a whirlwind. I did love the cat's chapter. Oh, the cat. Oh my gosh. He has his own book, by the way, or it's coming out, by the way, so it is also on my reading list. I can't remember the title of it, but I will list it. So when it comes out, I'm so excited for this book. I did love the cats chapter. That was great. I'm definitely going to be thinking about this one for some time to come. Like at the moment, I don't even know what to rate it. That's why I didn't rate it, was because I didn't know what I wanted to rate it. But the book moves very quickly. It is only 235 pages. I think I read it in a day, maybe a day and a half. It's cute. I'm still confused. I think it might even be a reread. My cat is chasing flies in the window. Oh, let's see. What is next? Mischief Night. I gave this book 3 stars, but it was very entertaining. It's about a home invasion. Let me back up. Mischief Night is by Mark Towse. I gave it 3 stars. I started this on September 14th. It is not a series. It's 95 pages. I read it in a day. It's a very, very quick read. It's about a home invasion that definitely does not go as planned. It was supposed to be all fun and games on Mischief Night, which is the night before Halloween, and it does not go as fun and games. It turns pretty gruesome. Let's just put it that way. There is a character in the book that they leave the ending wide open for, and that's why I think I gave it 3 stars instead of 4, because there's no finality. Like, what happens to this poor kid? He has, let's just say he is an at-risk teenager. He has some mental imbalances, but they'd never wrap up his story at the end, and I really wish that they would have. I'd like to know what happened to him. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Next one, Welcome to Nightmare Island. If you love the movie 13 Ghosts, you have to pick up this book. This book is by Devin Cabrera. Phenomenal. He did a phenomenal job. I cannot give this guy enough stars. This book had me hook, line, and ball and chain. Like, oh my gosh. It's a wild ride. So, as you can guess, I gave this book 5 stars. This book will live with me forever. So this book starts off as a group of friends who get invited. They're like scary, sleuthy type people. Every Halloween, they pick a adventure that they're going to go on that includes like spooky, ghosty, that kind of stuff. Well, they get an invitation to go to a new amusement park it's kind of like an amusement park. It hasn't opened yet. They are going to be the first people who have gone to this island. So they pack their bags, they go to this island, and as they're going, they get on this boat. And as they're going out on this island, they end up in this dense fog. They get to the island, they get shown to their hotel rooms, and they're told, after dark, don't leave your hotel room. No matter what you hear, do not leave your room. It's not safe. Well, they're given these bracelets that glow, like this blue aura. And the bracelet is supposed to keep them safe from the spirits that are on this island. There are ghosts on this island. That is the part of the amusement aspect of the island. They get to tour the deadliest ghosts on this island that the creator of the island has caught. And there are, I can't remember how many ghosts there are, but there's a mother and a child. There is a demented man with a mallet. There's a like sexy siren style Black Widow type. There's just so many. And what happens is, you'll have to read the book to find out. I highly suggest it. He's probably one of my favorite authors now. He only has 4 books. The next book on my list is called Forgotten Bones by Vivian Bars. This I gave 4 stars. I read it on September 16th. It is the first book in a series. It is 298 pages. It goes into the dark, the horror, the thriller, psychological, stuff like that. It is book number 1 in the Dead Remaining series. It says an unlikely pair teams up to investigate a brutal murder in a haunting thriller that walks the lines between reality and impossibility. When small-town police officers discover a grave of a young boy, they are quick to pin the crime on a convicted felon who lives nearby. But when it comes to murder, Officer Susan Marlin never trusts a simple explanation. And then it brings in a college professor. Together, they take an unorthodox approach to the case as evidence keeps getting stronger. With Eric's hallucinations intensifying and the body count rising, can the pair separate truth from illusion long enough to catch a monster? I gave this book 4 stars. I thought it was very well written. I don't have much else to say on it. Okay, so the next book that I read in September. I started September 20th, and it's called Woman in the Woods by Jonas Saul. This book, it kind of lays on the sci-fi realm, I feel. And I'm not a huge sci-fi. I like fantasy style, like Harry Potter, stuff like that. I'm not so much big into the sci-fi aspect. But anyway, I gave the book 4 stars. It was very well written. It gripped me. I wanted to know what was going to happen next. It's about this girl who finds out that her fiance has cheated on her, and she decides she's leaving. So she gets on a plane. She gets on a train, and she's going to go see her mother. Well, she finds out by the train person, I'm not for sure what he's called, that goes around and takes all the tickets. She's on the wrong train. There are 3 other people who are also told they are on the wrong train. So they are dropped off in the middle of nowhere on a train platform and told to wait for the next train. It will be by in about 10 minutes. That train never comes. Trying to figure out what they're going to do. They were just going to sleep on the train platform, but then they see a fire off in the woods, so they decide that they're going to go check it out and see what it is. From there, From there, the book takes you to a house where this guy is like, follow the trail. It'll take you to this almost like a hostel. And he says that they can stay there until tomorrow, till they can get everything figured out. And from there, everything goes awry. People are dying. Things are not what they seem. Like when they get to this hostel, they're greeted, everything looks good. They go into the room. Unfortunately, the rooms are bare. There's no beds, nothing like that. So they sleep on the floor. When they wake up the next morning, nothing is the same. Nothing. Windows are broken, trash everywhere. It looks like they've spent the night in an abandoned house. And if you'd like to know more, you'll have to go read the book. Like I said, it's called Woman in the Woods by Jonas Saul. I gave it 4 stars because I thought it was very well written. I'm just not a sci-fi person. The last book that I read in September is called In Her Shadow by Mark Edwards. I gave this book 3 stars. I gave this book 3 stars because of me. Nothing is wrong with the book. It is very well written. It's very well thought out. Everything flows smoothly. I just don't like ghost type books. I can see ghosts. I can talk to ghosts. That's just me. I'm not into that kind of stuff, which is weird. You would think I would be, but I'm not. So like TV shows, I'm not a huge fan of those ghost hunting shows. Now, don't get me wrong. I like possession things. Annabelle is one of my favorite movies, but I can't remember the name of the movie, but the movie with the little boy that says, I see dead people. I'm not a fan of that movie. This book is about a woman who is married, has 2 kids. Her sister has passed on, and her daughter suddenly starts acting very strangely and starts talking about how she has this imaginary friend, and the imaginary friend just so happens to be the name of the sister or the aunt who has passed. And strange things start occurring. The little girl is like, oh, well, Lizzie did it. Oh, Lizzie says this, and the mystery unfolds from there, and you find out that not everything is as it seems. I enjoyed reading the book. I did not enjoy the aspect of the way the book led out, and I figured it out right from the very beginning. But that's not to say it's a bad book. The 3-star rating is my opinion. Read the book if you want to see what your star rating would be on the book. We're going to move into what I've read so far for October. So I started my October with The Spell Shop. And heavily annotated this bad boy. It's a very cute, cutesy book. I wanted to read this book because it was talked about all over YouTube, all over TikTok. So I thought, oh, you know, that sounds cool. It's a magic-y, fantasy style of book. If you're going to read this book, which I do recommend this book, but I'm going to let you know it is very middle grade. This is probably something that I would have read when I was 14. I did give it 3 stars only because it was so overly hyped, but no one ever specified that it is very middle grade. But on that note, it's very magical, very whimsical, very fun. Like, this would be a place I would want to live because it just sounds so fantastic. There are mermaids, mer horses. Oh, let's see what else was there. A talking plant, 2 talking plants, a singing plant. This girl, her name is Kylea. I believe I'm saying that right. If not, oh well, that's what I called her. She runs away from a kingdom called Elysium, and she is a librarian in the Great Library. Well, there's a revolutionary that begins, and the library ends up in flames. So her and Kaz, her spider plant, grab as many books as they possibly can and throw them into crates, load them on a boat, and run away. And they're trying to save these books because she's a librarian. Well, according to the Elysium, that's theft. But the Elysium is falling, so she doesn't care. She takes these books and she goes home to her home island, which is called Caltre, and she tries to hide. Her plan is to hide away from everybody. She doesn't want to know anybody. She doesn't want to interact with anybody. And that's not the way it goes. It's a cute little romance. I do recommend reading it, but go into this knowing it is not an adult book. It is a middle grade, young adult fantasy, but it's cute. They have these little cats. There's a little cat on the cover here. I don't know if you can see it. See the little cat with wings? I want one so bad. They're so adorable. Anyway, I'm currently in the middle of Pumpkin Spice Cafe. It's another, like, romance, mystery. Do I have it listed at? I have it listed as a cozy romance, mystery. It is an adult book. It doesn't fit in the smut category. So it's just a little cozy romance. There's a cat in it. There's a big handsome farmer and a city girl who's moved to a small town to take over her aunt's coffee shop. It's cute. I'm not done with it yet, so I can't give a formal opinion. They end up at like a fall festival, and yeah, it's really cute so far. And then last night, I finished Jones 1963. This book is by Devin Cabrera, and it's not the second book because it's not a series, but this book goes in line with Welcome to Nightmare Island. This book is about one of the ghosts and his backstory. I really hope this author writes a backstory for all of the ghosts, because this book was phenomenal. It's a very short read. I read it in 2 days. I loved it. Definitely gives the backstory of this serial killer and how he became what he is. I really, really enjoyed it. Like I said, this is probably one of my new favorite authors. I really hope that he does more books containing the ghosts from this island. I recommend that you pick up these books. I think that they're very good. So it is Welcome to Nightmare Island and Jones 1963 by Devin Cabrera. They are on Kindle. They are free. Other than that, that pretty much wraps up what I've read so far in October. And then, like I said, I have Deadly Occupants, A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, A Ghost of a Chance, The Fall of the House of Usher, and The Ex-Hex that I hope to get done before the end of the month. If you've made it all the way through my video, and I know it's a long one this time, sorry guys. Let's see. Leave me a Halloween emoji, the monster, the skeleton, the pumpkin, anything like that. And tell me, what is your favorite part of Halloween? I love handing out candy to little kids. It makes me smile. I like to see all the costumes, and I remember being little and I remember I had to be over the top. I wanted the best costume, and to see all the little kids and see the smiles on their faces, it just makes me so happy. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a wonderful weekend or a wonderful week, depending on when you are watching the video. Bye.